Hello. Last time we did this, it was for chapter 1 and 2. Now we're doing chapter 3 and 4. Of course, I'm allowing myself to use any unit in the game, which means I'm allowed to use the Tarnished Battlers. Of course, I'm not going to use them most of the time. I'm also allowing myself to use future little units, such as little Ceases and other stuff, as of course it makes playing the game much easier. Of course, I'll skip to the first hard level that requires me to use a Tarnished Battler. Let's get to that. Here's where I use my first Tarnished Battler. Of course, I bet you expected me to immediately go to above the law, didn't you? Didn't you, pal? I see you. This is the most important role that this guy played, as there is another one that there was another level that included Tarnished Wall, but that was only because I wanted to make sure that my defenses weren't down. So this time he actually had a purpose this time. Hi Luna, how you doing? Anyways, so what Tarnished Battle is here for? Not Tarnished Battle. Tarnished Trowel is here to just tank and absolutely be a beast. He's here to tank so much, as I'm pretty sure his wall has more than 20,000 HP, which is very helpful. Like right now. And so, of course, this was the only defense I was going to have for a while, as no other unit can actually do this. Only Tarnished Trowel. And him doing this is going to be helpful. Of course, I'm going to I am going to skip to the next usage, the next important usage of a Tarnished Battler. So let's skip to that next, because this whole thing is kind of just boring. This is the hardest level. This is the hardest level. I'm gonna say that outright. I bet you thought it was gonna be the final boss that was the hardest level, didn't you? Well, no. This is the hardest level. First of all, what was it? The game requires you to have a unit that can. What was it? The only way to counter outlaws. Wait, no, not outlaws. The in what was it? So we have Deleter, who insta deletes anything that is Omni immune. We have Outlaws, who kill anything that is Omni immune. We also have Cloak Battler, who just kind of phases through. So unless you have long range, you're gonna have to wait out the Cloak Battler or use him for something later. Then we also have the police people, who, well, are the hardest part of this level, as they instantly make any unit that isn't wasn't any unit that isn't Omni immune basically just die, as you can't really do anything with it. Of course, this is my first attempt. There's actually 2 attempts on this level. One where I'm pretty sure there was 2 attempts on this level. This is the first one in which I think I failed, and then the second one is me actually beating it. So I think at least. So let's skip to the second. Let's skip to the second life. Let's immediately actually talk about how the level goes for me. First of all, Little Kronos is gonna be the almost main damage dealer to the base, as with his range, or more so with Kronos, his damage output helps a lot and easily damages the base. However, it's not always consistent, as you always need to, what was it? How do I explain it? What was it? As he's only used if you have a Cloak Battler on your base, and there's like the units are far, which is basically the start of the level, and once you finish using Tarnished Battler. And so immediately, Fat Boy is one of the main problems, as he's tanky. He basically ignores your units, and if he gets to your base, you're dead. It sounds weird when you have normal units, but with one unit, he becomes a death sentence, as you always need to have a strong unit up your hand. Also, I think the main damage dealers for this level are Tarnished Slinger and Tarnished Battler. Tarnished Battler can summon 2 more Battlers who can tank a lot of the main damage. However, Tarnished Slinger can't do that. However, he does have a lot of range, and and Tarnished Slinger has a lot of range, allowing him to damage enemies from afar so that they can't hit him. His beam also is useful only if you can get it off. If you can't get it off, it's practically useless. As here I thought I was gonna have to die, and then I proceeded to use the cannon. I don't know why I didn't use it sooner. And so, and of course, using Using Tarnished Slinger's long range, I managed to constantly keep a hold of the enemy so that I can stall out for both Kronos' timer cooldown and Tarnished Slingers. And so I do. And so now Kronos. And then immediately switch to Tarnished Valor. For more units, of course. And then I use Tarnished Sword. I don't know why. I think it's mostly only because I couldn't get to use Tarnished Valor, as he instantly just got deleted. Of course, if you can't get Tarnished Valor or Tarnished Slinger, Tarnished Sword is your next best option. Tarnished Trowel, you aren't a part of this. As the Two More Battlers, I won't count the Two More Battlers as units, but I'm not going to count them against the challenge, as it's just one unit. It's not using... It's like solo. It's fine if that one unit becomes a battler and then you summon another one, or if you... What was it? Or if that battler summons different battlers, as long as it's only one unit that is not currently, but more so only you control the unit, is the one unit you get to use. So if I'm using Tarnished Battler, two more battlers won't count, as I'm not controlling them. Of course, if I use Two More Battler, that does count because I'm controlling it. And of course, I think Little Terminator, Tarnished Slinger, Two More Tarnished Battler, and Little Kronos are the main units I use. Tarnished Sword doesn't really have much purpose. He's just there. He's just the one guy in the corner, just wondering why is he here. And I'll let the rest of this go on. It's really such a shame that the final chapter boss, not final chapter boss, but the chapter boss is easier than one of the levels, as well, End of the Line is way harder than Area 51. I'm sad that unfortunately that Area 51 was so much easier compared to, well, End of the Line. End of the Line focuses more on focuses more on spamming the units rather than, well, using, wait, no, rather than using the main, rather than like, how do I explain it? How do, what am I talking about? What I'm saying is that even though this is a technically quote unquote harder stage, due to the fact that the main problem is the boss, he's super easy due to the fact that he has very little HP. I'm pretty sure it's like 9,000 HP. I'll need to check later. So Lil Kronos just annihilates him. It's such a shame. I wish I had more to say for the chapter boss, but unfortunately, this boss is just really lacking in difficulty compared to the other stage. So I guess that's all I can really say for chapter 3. I'll let I'll let the final I'll let this boss con- I'll let this boss finish with the, of course, dying part, and then I guess we can go to chapter 4 immediately. Yeah, no, I don't really have much to say, sorry. Screw this one battler, by the way. Patrol battler, you suck. Alrighty, immediately to the chapter first boss. I really want to say that this chapter is gonna be harder, but it really isn't gonna be. As well, the boss is, or well, oh, or more so like the enemies that made chapter 3 really hard are barely used in chapter 4. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's just like something that said that you could solo. I think you could solo the chapter 4 boss Ceases with only Titan Battler. I'm pretty sure, at least. I'm not sure of entirely, but I decided for this boss, I decided it'd be funny if I just used Tarnished Sword to aura farm on the boss. This is also where I kind of lost my mind as I decided not to talk. I'll check on myself. I'll check on myself later after the second boss. But I don't really have anything to say. Yeah, no. Um I mean, this boss exists. Well, what do you expect me to say? This boss literally feels like filler. Like I can assume that Paint Master, I felt Paint Master had a little more relevance, as well Paint Master was related to the bosses, and I don't think a queen in chest is related to, well, God. That sounds so out of context. A, a queen piece isn't related to God. Oh well. I mean, I like the concept of chess pieces being the enemies, but like, you really gotta innovate it, as it's very easy. And of course, most of the bosses are gonna be meat aura farming with Tarnished Sword. So let's skip to Martyr, where I think I aura farm with Tarnished Sword. I think, at least. something something gamma gamma something 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 word. Alright, this boss exists, Gubby Samurai. Well, that's what the community calls her, because a certain somebody decided that when playing, but when showing off the skin, they decided to call her Gubby Samurai. Anger aside, this boss only is memorable for the memes, and you know exactly what I mean. So don't be a green bean. I'm not. Anyways, I don't think I have really anything to say about this, but I do want to check up on my sanity real quick before we go to the next few bosses. So, of course, after this boss, I guess I'll see on my, I guess I'll check my sanity. Double the gas and Delta room, belted all from an empty room. Okay, shut up, past me. What? Why is past me singing? Why is past me singing Double D Gaster Deltarune? What? I generally do not remember why I was singing it. I generally gonna be honest. I don't think I even remember singing it. I think I was straight up just brain dead when playing this. So I guess that's something. You know what? Slam cut, not slam cut, but speed to Cesis. I don't know, but hmm. I talked about Chessmaster. I talked about Gubby Samurai, and now I'm here at Cesis. I don't think there's anything I'm missing, but it feels like I'm missing something. You know what? If I don't remember it, it probably wasn't important. Ceases exists. Yeah, no, what do you expect me to say? He's kind of just like he's only popular as well because of, well, the Die of Death collab. So I don't really have much to say about Ceases because he's kind of just mid overall. Like, yes, he's popular for being quote unquote God, but then there's Kronos. So is Kronos God or is Ceases God? And what I mean by God, I mean in-game God, not IRL God. Don't you dare start praying to Ceases because I said he was God in game. If I do, I'm gonna I'm I'm gonna be very angry. Anyway, so I guess well, I don't really have much to say about Ceases. Ceases is cool, I guess. Yeah, no, I don't really know what you expect me to say. And like the other two bosses, I aura farmed on him with both Tarnish Sword, Tarnish Slinger, and then I think little Kronos at the end. So yeah, no, I don't really have anything to say about this. So I guess Slam. Well, I would like to say subscribe now because I'm instantly gonna skip to the outro once this finishes because I don't think I'm, well, planning to keep talking about this. It's I'm just tired, okay? I really don't want to talk about Ceases right now because Ceases is mid. He's kind of boring, and he's a fake god. Why support this god when you can support actual god? Do I have anything else to say about this boss? Well, before I say something real quick, subscribe. If you came all the way here, I know that you actually liked the video, so that's something. Anyways, do I have anything to say about Ceases? No.